What up, bro?
This is what I walk into. Oh shit! What's up, man? Menage a trois, huh? Okay. That's what's up. I'll get my station together here.
Yeah.
What's up, man? I'll put that out the way. Oh, what's good?
Man, staying safe and celibate.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Fucking, living. Or I guess this is living.
Yeah, right? It's the new world order, right? Where they control us.
Not happy. Yeah.
So look, I really started, this whole process has made me think a lot more about where I've come from, shit that inspired me to do music from the beginning. I started listening to old records of my own.
Right.
To like see where I've come from and shit like that.
Right, for sure.
And I realized, man, I have been blessed to be around a lot of talented people throughout my career, different stages of my career, and I've learned a lot from them. So I just felt like I wanted to kind of talk to them the way that we would normally talk,
Right, for sure.
A lot of times people don't get to kind of get exposed to that type of conversation, you know what I mean? And even in interviews, sometimes the questions can be like the typical interview. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to kind of chop it up. I have a loose set of things that I wanted to ask you because I think at least in our situation.
Yeah. Hold on. There's a thing that I've seen people do where they like speak to somebody where like all silent. I didn't do it. Anyway, what up, Jafonza?
Yeah, do that. Nah, do that. Yeah. That's exactly what we
get I don't know how it works, but yeah. What up, y'all?
Yeah. Yes.
Me and Kameron over here.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like in our situation, and I think this is probably similar in a lot of different situations when you're coming up with people and you see them doing their thing, once everything starts to get like really going, those types of conversations are fewer and farther between.
Yeah, everybody goes in their own space or whatever. We just kind of pass by each other here and there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so since we are subdued a bit, just thinking about you and our history, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
man, the first thing I think about is Jessica Caremore's bookstore, bro.
Yeah. So look, can I tell that one? So, let me tell from my perspective. So, I was out on the road with India, heavy. I think it's early 2000s for sure. Maybe the second album. And then, wanted to do something at home. And I had, Jessica Caremore, excellent writer, poet, playwright, publisher, badass that she is. She had got this space on Peter Street. And I was a super fan of hers. So when we met, I did an open mic at her spot. And it was cool. And one day I remember you walked in. And like, first of all, when you walked in and signed, I don't know if you signed up. I don't know how this worked at the time. But a bunch of girls came.
Here we go.
I was like, my event is popping. And I was like, oh, it's this guy. And then, you did the song where you were singing in French. And
wow.
There
was a little French there.
Yo, this is a beast. Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember, I think I wanted you to like be in it for every week, but I think I might even want you to take it over.
Yeah.
But,
you were going on tour, and I just was like,
Yeah. I was like, yo, so if I'm not here, can you do it? But this basically is funny because it's sort of like the timeless thing that we do with Brandon now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Full circle, yeah. I mean, when you think about it, for me, like, and this will get into my next question for you, but for me, I was coming in, my guitar didn't plug into nothing, and it was like, you walk into this bookstore and it's like, I remember one night, it was like, you, me, Carisha, India, Algebra,
Wow,
like
right.
all these people, like killers, just in there, and it's like guitars.
Right.
And coming from my perspective, I used to be like, coming from Cincinnati, it was like nobody was really walking around with an acoustic guitar like that. So when I came down here, and I remember being in that environment, I just remember it being so welcoming, and like that it spoiled me. I didn't realize how rare that situation was at the time, you know?
That's Atlanta, man. That's Atlanta. I mean, that's basically, that's an extension. My story is basically the same. I mean, I'm from Savannah, Georgia, and I was in the military, and I moved there from North Carolina.
Okay.
And I didn't play no guitar or nothing like that either. You know what I'm saying? So then a couple years in, we started playing, and then it was only like spoken word. You know what I mean? So that was why I did the event. It's because everything was spoken word. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, we need to do something where, like, some of the places I was in between then, like Raleigh, North Carolina, Chapel Hill, like, there is normal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to have something like that here. And that's continued in different ways. Different people have done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man. So look, it's interesting because my dad's actually from Savannah, from West Savannah.
What?
Yeah, Carver Heights.
Carver Heights.
Yeah. My so everybody either went to like Beach or Johnson or something
my
like
mom
that.
went to Beach.
Okay. Yeah. So like as you know, obviously Atlanta has been booming, and I know I remember coming here because I was like, shit, I want to be able to be in Atlanta because that's where it's popping musically, but I knew I wasn't going to get the approval to leave school and come down here, so I just transferred.
Yeah,
and
you went to Morehouse here, right?
Yeah, I just was at Morehouse, and then I was coming to all the different shit, you know.
You played football too? You a quarterback? What did you play? You didn't play football?
I did play football, but not in college. I ran track. But I didn't do that at Morehouse. I stopped that. Yeah.
All this time, I put you in football for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know, in high school, but not after that. I let it go, man. Once I got in my senior year, I got hit by I got hit. I was coming over the middle. I got hit in the ribs, cracked a rib. It was over with.
Bruh,
I was like, yeah.
My story's similar to that. I mean, well, like way earlier though, like well before even I didn't even play JV. Because it was the same thing. Like, it's so, when I look at football, I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Like, yeah, where you at? Oh, yeah. I'm just tripping on, like, how they just smashing up against each other like that. It's crazy sport, man. You know?
So what was it like in the transition from Savannah to Atlanta? Or even, you know, I know there was some stops in between, but yeah, I'm curious about the interstate transfer because there's a lot of, you know, outer state into Atlanta transfer, and that's a little bit different. Was there somewhat of a transition culturally speaking from Savannah to Atlanta, or was it the same type of vibe?
It's different. Savannah, like you get that, like, well, say you're from Cincinnati, Ohio, and like Cleveland is totally different, right?
True. Yeah.
And so, like, states, well, you know, we're the beach people, you know what I'm saying? So, like, Atlanta, we didn't, like, now people will say like shouty and all that, but we didn't say that when I was growing up. The slang is different. The you know, especially if you like Geechee, the whole thing is different. And plus, you know, Atlanta's a city, and Savannah is a smaller town, you know.
Yeah.
And so this was the big place people wanted to go to. You know? When people were going to in my high school, you know, or any part, it'd be like the way you're gonna, you know, go do it is go to Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of, you know, the people that I was in school with, some of them, you know, that were doing well enough, they could go to Spelman and Morehouse and all that. And so when I did get here, some of my friends were already here. But yeah, this is kind of like doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I'm from. Yeah.
For sure. Same here. You know, it got to the point where when I would go home, sometimes people were like, man, I'm so proud of you. You're doing it. You're in Atlanta. I'm like, yo, I'm barely making it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yo, man. So take me to part of my life.
Part of my life. Okay. So, yeah. So it involves, what does that involve? Part of my life. Hold on. we might as well do it, right?
Yes, sir.
So that was when I was still writing poetry, and you know, and probably like making melody out of it, I think. And then, or no, yeah, I just probably had the riff first. Let me see. I don't know if I tuned this.
Shout out to CAU as well.
Yeah, I had the riff first. So my guitar teacher, Laz, he used to just put me on all these little riffs. I mean, these little bar chords and stuff like that, and especially this 11 chord stuff. So I was just using the chords that he gave me, and then, you know, just sitting around all day playing. So I came up with the riff first. That's right. And then, you know, just trying to figure out this whole thing about relationships. And no, you know what? It was a girl at a poetry reading. She said it to me. She said, I was like trying to holler at her or something. And she was really full of herself when I think about it. She was like, yeah, I know it looks good, tastes good, feels good, but something. And then she's kind of, whatever it was, she trailed off or whatever. But I like that. So I took that part. That became the hook. And that was, and I know that it feels good, but you be a part of my life. And I know that it feels good, and you be a part of my life. And it probably tastes good, and you be a part of my life. I've got to know. Yeah, so that one. And, yeah, so I that was the hook. I had that first, and then I kind of just sat around and wrote with that. And then I thought it would be funny to have, or not funny, but interesting. That's normally something like, since she said it first, I took her sentiment and I put it for me. It was just interesting for a guy to be saying that.
Yeah.
And I even might have wanted to pitch it to India. And then she was like, that's cool for you to say that, though. That's dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then eventually it ended up on her album, because she would like have me play it in front of different people. And Mark, that did her first record, as soon as I started playing it, he just started tapping out on the keys and everything, and doing his thing. Wait, I gotta back up. When it was on my demo, my first demo, and Gypsy, who actually put me on everything. This is funny, just going over this since you asked me. He was the first one. I didn't, you know, I'm still writing guitar songs, and everything was just like really open, and there was a rhythm there, but I didn't think about it. I played drums in high school, so that's probably where that comes from. But it had a rhythm, but I didn't think of it as an upbeat song until he started like making a beat to it and tapping it out and made it a thing. And then it became something that we put on India's record. But I always liked this song, so I was going to put it on my record anyway. So we did it on both.
Yeah. So when it comes to collaborating, right?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had the fortune of being able to collab. I've collaborated. They just,
I was about to say,
they haven't
collaborated. All right.
They,
Shaggy, come on.
I mean, okay. So the art of collaborating on a record with another vocalist.
Gotcha.
And in particular, let's go female vocalists.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a vibe thing for you, or is that, you know, like, is it music based or is it vibe based because you've been able to navigate that well? You know what I'm saying? I've not heard a collaboration with you and a female voice that hasn't sounded like it goes together. You know what I'm saying? So how does that happen? Because they all don't know each other or nothing like that. You know what I mean?
Right. It is vibe based. Like, typically, I become a fan of that person, and then I think it just sticks with me for a long time, to where when something comes up, you know, then that person's in my mind. For instance, like Boot Up with Mila. Like, I remember when I first saw Mila at some place in Midtown, And I was like, yo, she's so dope. And like, she just stayed on my mind for the longest, like, cause I was like, yo, like, I love her voice. And I related to her. I knew we could be friends right off the bat, right? And so eventually when I started writing that song, yeah, I was like, it was just probably months before I was like, before I ended up with the song. And I was like, yo, you know, can you write to this? Can you do this? You know what I'm saying? And she could. I like people that are writers.
Yes.
Every song that I've ever written, collaborated with, these are people that are writers. Like India is a writer. Like with words, she, honestly, we used to be, when we get our records done, we like send them to each other,
Okay.
like the album. And with words, it was really just 2 verses. And I really hated that it was 2 verses. It was really short, but I knew it was good. Like, remember there was this girl in the back of my car when I first did the track, and even the MJQ just sitting there. Some girl I didn't even know. I was playing it for my boy Slick, and she just like, she was like probably high or something, and she was like, "Wow!" and just acted up in the back of the car, and I was like, "Yo." I had never had that reaction to a song, so I was like, "Yo, I'm using the song," but I just couldn't think of like how to make it longer. So when I sent it to India, she was like, "That song is really short, and I love that song. Can I write a verse to it?" And I was like, "Yo, the label I'm on wants me to ask you to be on the song anyway. I just didn't want to do it." So yes, please write to that. And so she wrote her verse, we extended it, and it made my stuff make sense, And of course, me and India had written a bunch of stuff, but well before that. But that was the first time that we like paired on the song. And the same thing with Algebra, like, you just see people out and you be like, yo, they're super dope. And when it comes time, you just hit them up and it works.
Do you think that type of organic collaboration is still just as much possibility of happening? I mean, there were a lot of places. I remember a lot of places being open that would just foster cats coming and kicking it. You know what I'm saying?
They are. It's just like, for me, I know I'm older. I don't go to a lot of stuff. But like, for instance, what Brandon has going on with Timeless, I feel like that brings in new people all the time. And I'm sure whoever's new to the city, they're probably, matter of fact, I met this young girl, I can't remember her name. She had just got off singing, and I could tell she was new to the city. And like, that was, you could see the same story happening again. I saw when, people felt like when Janelle Monáe and with Apache was coming together, that wasn't going to be anything, and then that was the new scene. So I think that happens a lot. I think Atlanta's always going to have a place for that. I'm not always going to be up on where exactly that is.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm pretty sure it's always around.
Now, I remember, gosh, this was years ago. We ended up going to France around the same time.
Yeah, shout out G. Do you know
G? I think she's G's right there. Yeah, what up, G?
She's in there. Yeah, we just spoke. She recovered from.
Yes.
Yeah. So happy you're here, G. I can't see her. She must be on your side. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna ask you, what was that experience like? Because I remember I feeling like, man, he's out there doing it.
Well, and so that was all on her. I had never been. I kept going to like England and maybe Amsterdam, but she hit me. I was going over there to do a Europe, but for some reason Paris wasn't on there yet, and then she hit me on MySpace.
Wow.
Like, your song is my ringtone. I was like, what song? I'm thinking some upbeat song. It was Cheating Man. I'm like, what? I was Cheating Man your ringtone. Like, you know what I'm saying? And well, she was like, yo, she saw that I was coming over, and she was like, look, we want you to play at this place we know of that we can do. We don't know how much money we're gonna make, and we ain't got that kind of money, but you can stay with us. I had been to Paris within but you know, with India and not on my own. And I didn't like it because I don't speak French, and especially at that time, like you could just walk around and nobody will say anything to you, and they ain't trying, you know. So you just be walking silent. I actually had a song that I came up with called "Alone in Paris," but it didn't work out. But but yeah. So she was like, "Yo, you can stay with us," and I was like, "Yeah, that would be a much better experience." So I got to stay in one of the DC Mall.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, in their neighborhood, and just like, you know, they could speak some English, and their daughter, well, her friend's daughter, I can't remember her friend's name. See if she knows you. She was like 5 at the time, and she didn't know I didn't speak French, so she would speak basic French words to me that I could understand, like close the door and open, you know what I mean? And so I had that was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, like hanging out with them for days. I met Philemon and Boogie Boss. Their music is amazing, you know what I'm saying? And then she was saying, I don't remember when that she had said, you know, because I don't know if we did it on our show that we did was the second time I had been, but she had mentioned that you had come, or I'm missing a timeline or whatever. But I was like, he actually speaks French. I was like, oh, that's why. That makes. So I thought you had been out there a bunch of times. I didn't know. Yeah, so that's funny because you're like, he's out there, and I'm like, he's out there.
Crazy, bro. So do you prefer to play solo or accompanied?
It depends. When I'm playing solo a lot, then I want to play accompanied. I'll be missing that, especially with the right company, with my crew. You know, people that know your song, and you know, the pickup band thing is cool, but you know how that goes, right?
Yeah.
But when I'm playing with the band a lot, then I would want to like break. You know, I need the space because you know when you play by yourself, you got a lot of space, and you can also get in and out of things easier. Like I've done that if I'm playing in front of a group of people and like this thing ain't working just yet, I can get out of that. Sometimes if you're with the band, you're like, oh, we got to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's both. It just depends on how long I'm doing one.
I got you. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put you on the spot, but the first song I ever saw you play was Cold Turkey.
Ah, yeah. That's probably the song I ever wrote.
Are you serious?
On guitar, yeah. First song, pretty much, yeah.
Can you teach me how to play it from here?
Yeah, that one's easy. I mean, you're doing this G dominant. You know, all my stuff is really bar chord stuff. It's pretty easy. But the hammer-on thing is so. And then down here, what is this? C? Yeah. So the really, and
then the C, but the C chord.
Now in that one, you're kind of halfing with the stroke there, because so you don't hit other stuff that's noisy. Yeah, I just hold the bar down. So just hold that down when you hit when you hold it down when you're with the back there.
Oh, keep my fingers on the chord.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it.
Was that it?
I think I'm used to doing that so long. That's it. Just hold that chord, like, I mean, what is it? Mute it. That's it.
Oh, I get you. I get what you're saying. Now I'm on the spot.
You don't even have to have the notes of it in there. Well, it does kind of ring. But if you're muting it instead of playing it down, that's all. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo.
You know what's so funny to me like that's why I learned that like it doesn't matter how good you play. It's like maybe your style. Because David Wild, right? You know David Wild from
Yeah.
Wild Peach. You know, he's a god to me. I watched him. I didn't know how to play when I first saw him playing. And then I was at a sound check one time for El Poos at MJQ, and then I saw him trying to play it, and like then he asked me to show. I was like, I can't show, you know what I mean? Because I feel funny showing people that play better than me. Like I know how you play it.
Yep.
But it's basically your style, what you bring to the thing, you know.
Where do you think you have gotten your style, your innate style from as an acoustic player? Because I know you play electric too, but
Drums. I mean, from snare drum. Like
gotcha.
you know, it's all that. Like you know what I mean? It's like all that, like that, the rhythmic stuff in between. That's why, you know what I mean? I'm always trying to. So it's and snare drum is like, you know. I notice rappers do that a lot too. Good rappers are usually snare drummers.
Wow.
So that's the first thing, because I knew that I could do rhythmic things. So even before I was really getting my notes together, I was, you know, I was trying to do stuff on the beat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like over time, as you've gotten better as a guitar player, as you've been around other situations in terms of producers, you know, like obviously working with Shannon has made an impact, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel like those situations have changed your creative process?
Yeah.
And how so then, would you say?
Well, I started out with like just coming up with riffs, like those songs, and writing to the riffs, kind of like how somebody would write to a track. But then if you're limited musically, like with your musical vocabulary, it's going to be kind of harder. You know what I mean?
True.
So Gypsy told me really early on, it was like, you should also write, you know, kind of to your brain, like write to your vocals and make the guitar stuff, or maybe get the other music going after it, because then you're not limited. So if I'm just singing some stuff, then I could just come up with it and then sit down, like say for Io Dele, which I don't know how to play that. I don't remember how to play it, but that's part of it. It's like I would start to record a vocal with just the headphones on and to the metronome. I'm pointing at the computer.
Okay. Okay.
To the metronome. So then I got the song, and I can sing the words that I came up with. And I don't have to be limited to like, I don't know what that chord is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what, and then maybe afterwards I can, you know, play it along with it. What am I doing? You know what I mean? That kind of stuff, and follow. And I've even punched in stuff like that. Like I've done that a lot, where I just like, oh, what's that? And then, oh, okay, you know, all that. And
yeah.
we'll just do it one by one, and that makes me. Then what's funny is I still end up doing some of the same things, but I don't know that I'm doing them because I don't know it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Because if I'm doing it here, I know that I'm doing the same thing over and over again. I can see the chord, and I'm like, oh, here you go, doing that shit again. You know? But if I'm doing it vocally, it's like, I don't know. And then after it, I'm like, oh, that's your same little thing, you know, that you do.
Do you, when it comes to like records that you create, would you say that, I mean, right, there are a lot of songs that we have that have never come out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you know that you want to, I mean, I have unfinished songs or whatever, and I might be like, it's cool, but you know, it isn't forcing me to finish it, if you will. Do you have situations like that? How do you know a record is going to be a record you want? And then even beyond that, what does it take for a song of yours to be a single in your mind?
First, how I feel about it, and if it's saying like what I really want to say, if it's, you know, then people's response to it too. Because there's been one or two singles that weren't my first choice, but say like, you know, one time I was on E1 and the radio guy was like, that one was Sweet Pain. And I was like, that one? Like, I didn't even finish it yet. And then he was like, yeah. And I was like, all right. I mean, I kind of knew what I was doing with it in the beginning, but I was still, like, my demos, a lot of times, especially if I'm on a label or if I'm working with a team, I kind of start passing people. I don't even finish songs until, like, I kind of finish them all together. You know what I'm saying? So I have stuff that I kind of like, you know, that I think could be something, and then I let people hear it. And yeah, like that was one of them that he was just like, yeah, that one. And I was like, dang, that's really not one that I was even that into. So, but I did finish it, and I ended up liking it, you know, but sometimes I don't always know. But if, yeah, like Boot Up, I knew it was going to be a single right off the bat, right? Honestly, when I was in the house and made up the hook, I was like, oh, this is going to be one. Like, I know what this is. Like,
yeah. Do you hello from London and Minneapolis? I want you to know they are saying hello to you from London and Minneapolis. So
what up? Two of my favorite cities.
Yeah, right.
Minneapolis, man, that's a sleeper city. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So look, I'm interested in getting your interpretation on verses.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Now, I know you mentioned the female head-to-head, which I thought was very interesting because I like music history. That's just something I like. I feel like 2000 and 2001 were like huge years for music in terms of soul music specifically. You know what I mean? Fall of 2000, you got Music's first album, you got the Mama's Gun album, you got Who Is Jill Scott, and then you go into 2001. You've got Acoustic Soul. You've got Bilal's first album.
Right.
And songs in A minor come out as well.
Wow. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, you know, that leads me to, like, versus has been male dominated as of right now.
Right.
And I do think it would be interesting to, you know, throw some female artists in the mix or creatives in the mix in some way. I know you mentioned the head-to-head.
Yeah,
I think it would be a very good head-to-head because of everything that happened with those two projects.
Yes, and it should be more of a in the round thing because both of those albums were classics. You know, people know those songs, and both of them are singer-songwriters. Like, people go, why not Jill Scott? And it's like, well, she's not a singer-songwriter. She's a singer-songwriter, but she's not an instrumentalist. Like, she doesn't play. You know, both India and Alicia play, and those albums are heavy on them playing, you know.
Yep.
And
very true.
And yeah, and there was a great story that year. Like, we were just
detected at the front door.
What? Who was at my door? Hold
on. We're keeping it candid, y'all, with Anthony David. I got my guitar too.
All right, I'm back.
Bahamas, what's up? Bahamas says what's up to you, AD.
What's that? What's that?
The Bahamas.
The whole Bahamas?
No, the Bahamas. I don't know. Freeport, Nassau, where you at?
What up? What up? Yeah, my boy Will came through. So I got a new neighbor, right? She's a vegan. And, you know, I wanted to get her something nice. And Will is a vegan, bomb-ass chef. And he made this, like, chocolate vegan cake for her. So he dropped it by or whatever. Yeah, like, my neighborhood's spicing up. Come say what up, Will.
What up? How y'all doing, people?
Will, what up, bro?
What's up?
Yeah, we're neighbors, and then and we've been getting our workouts in over here. So doing this whole thing. So
have you been going out actually outside to do it or what?
Yeah, backyard. We got whole little weights and all that stuff. We've been going in. It's been good, and we've been hitting the mountain. I know that's some people don't like that, but we going to the Stone Mountain. That's what we have done. Yes.
Wow. South Carolina said, "What's up?"
What up? Yeah. So,
wow. Okay, this is a curveball for you.
Okay.
which 90s R&B group would set the mood best?
Group?
You got three choices. The mood. Which 90s R&B group?
Okay, you give me choices. Good.
The three choices are Silk,
Okay.
Jodeci,
Okay.
or H-Town.
Jodeci.
Easy decision, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I fucks with all of them, but Jodeci, like, I remember the album, it kind of went. It just went the whole time. Matter of fact, so here's the thing. My cousin's in Boys to Men, right? Sean Stockton.
Right, Sean.
And I remember when they dropped, and they didn't take off just yet. And that damn Jodeci album, like I was telling all my boys, like, yo, my cousin, Boys to Men, woo woo woo. And then Motown Philly was going, people liked it, but then fucking Jodeci dropped, man. And I remember we listened to it on like a trip, and it was so good that I was scared they were gonna get rid of Boys to Men.
Wow.
I was scared. Like, they were so good. It was like that damn stay at the end when they was doing those crazy loops and everything. I was just like, I remember sleeping and thinking, fuck, they're too good. Like, yeah, Jodeci, yeah. I mean, and it could be one of several albums, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, how was it seeing, you know, the success for Sean and Boyz II Men, you know, being a family member? Was that, you know?
It was amazing because, you know, that was the first time I'd ever seen something like that. Like, I was like, I like it, but, you know, does that mean everybody else is gonna like it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and then at the time, so this is coming out of the 80s, so like Troop was out, and I thought they'd be as big as them. You know what I mean? I was like, well, it could be like that, which honestly is really kind of big, but I thought that was as far as it could go for, you know, somebody that I know. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, boom, 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 through the roof, and it just kept going, kept going. I shopped India to them when they had a label.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they liked it, but they didn't know what to do. At that time, they thought India was like Tracy Chapman. And it's like nothing was really going like that at the time. So they were like, we don't know what to do. And they were doing like, you know, whatever, R&B, whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, do you think that's interesting, because I feel like as a Black singer-songwriter and choosing acoustic as your instrument, there are a lot of boxes that you can, you know, be thrown into, especially from the industry side of things. Do you think that, like in the case of a Tracy Chapman, you know, or do you think a Black singer-songwriter who plays guitar has to decide what it is that they're most influenced by, or what they're going to allow to come out in their music most? Or how do you feel about that?
It comes up in your mind a lot. I think that we all pretty much played a part in breaking that down a little bit. You know, people know that you can do that now, but definitely when we were coming up, like, no, it was only like groups that dance, and like we did purposely, like, I mean, Tracy Chapman, you know, the album that we were most influenced by, and I had like not Fast Car, but that's the first record. But then the Give Me One Reason to Stay Here and all that. And it was more blues based, and it was like, that's where you got to be over here with white people kind of thing. And but India's from Denver, too. You know what I mean? And so like and she liked James Taylor, and she put me on to James Taylor. I knew him, you know, we obviously know him, but he played him for me, and I was like, wow. So we, you know, and then we grew up with these different groups like Depeche Mode or whatever. So it was definitely there's some kind of mental something going on where you're like, dang, well, how do I get to this hip hop thing I like and do this thing I like?
Yeah.
You know, but I think now it's a little different than it was before.
I think you've been able to weave that in. I remember going to Venkman's and seeing you, and you were weaving in records that I felt like were great, like Electric Relaxation. I want to say you weaved in. You know.
I actually was put on a Tribe Called Quest like dedication or something in New York a while back, years ago. And that's why I was like, ooh, I want to do that. I'll do this acoustic, you know what I mean? So you're always forced to like do that if you're going to a black event. And over time, you get an arsenal of stuff that, you know, works.
Yeah, for sure. Man, that reminds me of we when we performed in what was that? Cleveland.
Oh,
we did Cleveland.
The House
of Blues. We did Cleveland House of Blues. I was gonna bring up Essence because that was a whole nother thing. Wow. Do you remember that? New Orleans?
Yeah, we did
at the W.
And then Jill Scott went on like during my set or something.
Yeah, it was crazy. Raphael came through. It was
wait,
yeah.
Oh, you're talking. Was that Essence?
Yeah.
No, it was like a Honey magazine or something.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was during Essence though.
It was.
Yes,
Dang.
it was in like the big great room at the W.
Raphael Sadiq was playing acoustic and everything.
Yeah, they came through and you were DJing. You were DJing, like hosting. Yeah, you were hosting. Yeah, you were just kicking it. And man, listen.
What? That was so it was my event or something? Like what?
It was an event that you were like the special guest host or whatever.
Right. Oh,
yes.
That's crazy. That's
and I played, but you were like hosting and shit.
Oh, that was that one with that crazy dude. Yeah, wait a minute. So that turned out really good then. So Raphael Sadiq and all them came in. That was.
Yeah, it was so crazy though because we were right there. That W was like right there where the casino is and everything. So it was like always crazy packed and stuff like that.
Did you get paid?
I think.
Because that was crazy. That dude, we had like some issues.
Hey. Yo, that was some crazy stuff.
I felt like I was supposed to make sure everybody got paid. I forgot. Anyway.
Yeah, that was something else. Definitely. I know one time a show with him, I did a show with him and a woman's hair caught on fire right before I went on. Wow. They had these open air candles. It was at a spot in Buckhead called Fuel. It was like in the old club strip. Yeah. There was an open air fire and she was laughing at a comedian, she leaned her head back and it went, whoa. Like the synthetic just went crazy.
And then they were like, Cam.
Yeah, and then right there, like people were smacking her head to knock the fire out. And then after that, I'm getting on stage trying to, the truth is we're breaking up. Have you ever had a crazy situation happen at a show?
Well,
give me one.
Oh, at a show, crazy. Well, kind of like awkward like that, where I had to play at an event in it was like a college event in Birmingham, and so what happens is I would go play at some poetry reading event, and sell my CDs. I didn't have a record. I put together a record just for this thing or something, but the guy, say some guy there likes your music and thinks, I should have this for my homecoming event, but it's like homecoming event doesn't work with this, you know what I mean? And so I went and I had no money. So I rode up and I was getting like $200 and I needed that $200. So I could tell this when I got there. It wasn't a huge event, but it was in a small place, but they had a little they had some, a little stereo or something playing some ratchet music. And people was trying to dance, and he goes, and then that person wants to bring me on in the middle of that. And I'm like, I'm going to play because I need to get my money. So I play my little song. I start with Cold Turkey. I'm trying to just get the 4 or 5 girls that are in the front. And I just want to make them feel it because they're the only ones even paying attention to this. The rest of them are like, damn, what's up with the music? Like Master P was playing, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh. But I'm trying to get through this. I played Cold Turkey. I played my heart out. And he's like, you good? You good? And I was like, I got another one. So, because I want to play long enough to get the money. And he's like, and I played another one, and then they kind of just fade me out and just play the music. And the girls wanted to shake their ass and all that. And it just wasn't cutting it. And So yeah, but I got through it. I was like, I need my money. I really needed that money. So I was gonna do it as long as it was gonna let me play, so that I could say that I did what I was supposed to do.
So, is there a song that you know 90% sure that you can't leave the stage without doing, and can you do a little bit of that for your fans?
Me always forevermore. Let me see if I put. Let me see that. Oh yeah, down here. Forevermore, forever's a mighty long time, and I really want to spend it with you. I shine when you shine, and there's really no substitute. Forevermore, forever's a mighty long time, and I really want to spend it with you, darling. I shine when you shine, and there's really no. Take a picture, I want you to remember when I profess my love. Press a button, I hope that you're recording. Every word I'm saying to you, I'm telling you right now from this day on. Already weighed up the pros and cons. Telling me you're just the woman I want. Making my plans just to be with you. It's you and me, baby, till the days are through. Ain't ashamed, love to say I do. Forevermore. Forever's a mighty long time, and I really want to spend it with you. I shine when you shine, and that's what they do. Forevermore. Forever's a mighty long time, and I really want to spend it with you. Yeah, I shine when you shine, and that's what they know. Forevermore.
Yes, sir. I got all the fireballs over here, bro. The hearts of the fireballs. Man, that's what's up. So what's next? Post-corona.
Post-corona. Well, well, unfortunately, at the beginning of this, my number one influence, Bill Withers, passed, and you know, we had been touring that record, but the actually management and so on kind of said that there's a resurgence for that. So I'll tour some of that where I, you know, go and pay homage to him again.
Okay.
On the record, Hello Like Before, that I did a dedication to him. And me and Alex were working on some things. And then I have some other projects aside from music that I'm working on. One of them was I was right getting going. That involves Delta that
nice.
We had to put back until they get going again. But yeah.
Nice. And man,
we're working on kind of now too.
Yeah.
But I haven't been working on much. I haven't been working on music really during this at all. I don't know. Have you?
You know, man, you know how it is when you work at home.
Yeah.
It's like my left hand has got the Netflix Roku remote. My right hand is like on the computer. I'm like,
yo, I'm the worst with YouTube and everything. It's like, yo, yeah, I could stand to take a hiatus from that.
Yeah, man. It's been crazy though. Like I said, I mean, especially this industry has a way of, you know, you got to have thick skin. You got to have, you know, level head. You got to, you know, you have to do all this shit. You know what I'm saying? And it spits a lot of people out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I guess that would lead me to another question. Young singer-songwriter walks up to Anthony David after a show, introduces him or herself.
Wait, don't. First of all, no.
That, I mean,
no, go ahead. Go with the
I can't say that I would. I can't say that it will be any different for me. But if they're hard-headed like you and I have been, and they insist on getting into the music industry, and you see their wide eyes, their doe-like eyes with tears swelling up inside of them, what advice could you give a young singer-songwriter in order to navigate or help them navigate?
Well, one, I wouldn't like, and that's why I'm saying, like, don't like approach. Well, that's just not my style. I'd rather be heard of than heard from.
Ooh.
So, obviously start wherever you are. You know what I'm saying? Like with you walked into a format that I had for that, and then also you came in with an audience, like way more than if there was already people there. You know what I mean? And then you performed. So it wasn't up to me, because really it's I don't even like being the like sole dictator of how well you're gonna carry on your dreams, you know what I mean? So like the person that does it, they have to get going, and they have to create things and share it with their friends where they are, and their friends will keep encouraging them, and that's how you build. I think you build it from there out.
Yeah, that's what's up, bro.
And you can like songs already, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just got the little Instagram notification.
Oh, it's coming.
So yeah, it's coming. Oh, they're bringing the hammer down. And I don't want to hold you. I mean, there are a lot of people commenting and everything like that. So I do want to give you a quick minute opportunity to just say what's up to your fans. I appreciate you for doing this, first of all.
I appreciate you having me. I've been watching it, so yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. So I just wanted you to be able to say something to your fans. Once again, this is Anthony David. I'm Cameron Corvet. The floor is yours, my guy.
What up, y'all? I see G must be on your side. So my people in Paris, Minneapolis is checked in. Bahamas, which I have been through, but I haven't played there before. Shout out to people all over the world, man. This is why, one of the reasons I do music is to travel and see all these other different cultures and then bring the culture that I come from to it. So I appreciate y'all for sharing with me and allowing me to share all this time.